Podcast.
Welcome to another edition of this random podcast. I'm your host Enzo.
And I am Rick Sanchez.
All right, so today's question is, what if you could respawn?
All right.
First of all, let's get for the non-gamers that are listening, what's respawn, Rick?
Well, I was going to say for the people my age that don't game.
Because you're an exception?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. It's for the mature people my age.
Okay.
So what's respawn? So by definition, if you Google it, respawn just says reappear after having been killed. If someone dies, and they probably will, they simply respawn.
Okay.
All right. So an instance of a character in a video game reappearing after being killed. So, because when I grew up before first-person shooters, when it used to be the old school consoles, Spawn, I always heard like, oh, you little spawn of Satan. It was like, yeah, it was almost like being a copy or like a replica or a clone of.
Really?
Yeah. So, or like, I don't know, or like, I guess that's maybe where it comes from, like being the rebirth of the devil himself. And they would say that to like little kids, like, oh man, that little kid is such a little spawn of Satan, you know? So it's like, wow.
That's funny. I never heard that.
And then there was a movie called Spawn, which if I'm not mistaken, I should really look this up before I say it, but if I'm not mistaken, it's actually part of a Marvel story. But it's a guy who dies. I believe that he was either set up or something, and they were going to try to like kill his wife or something like that, and he makes a deal with the devil, and he comes back. So the devil allows him to respawn, and he comes back, but he basically is a servant of the devil, and he has like powers and everything, but he's like messed up. Like he doesn't look like himself anymore, and he protects his family. And then he had to give up his soul when it was over, and when he protects his family and everything's taken care of, he just decides to say no, and he fights back, and he fights the devil, and he basically gets away. So, yeah. Anyways,
okay.
That's when I first heard Spawn before first-person shooters, that's where I got it from.
All right. So, when we say about the idea of coming back, having a second chance, I guess. Mm-hmm. I think the first thing that is going to come to our head is, everybody would just live recklessly.
Okay.
Because they can come back anytime.
Because you're saying that they know that they have one more life?
Yes. But before we go into that, I'm going to ask you this. So, would you not live recklessly, but do maybe more adventurous stuff or do more like stuff that are risky?
Okay.
Because if you mess it up or there's an accident, you got a second chance.
So let me tell you, and I'll give you this answer by telling you how I Googled first.
Okay.
I was thinking, okay, if I could respawn, what are the most dangerous sports out there?
All right.
Because there's two categories. What about the most dangerous jobs?
Oh, okay.
So, and when I was thinking about jobs, I was like, okay, well, typically when you go to a job interview, they'll ask you, what are your qualifications? And you come out with your resume and your curriculum vitae, and you're like, well, I did this, I studied this, and blah 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 blah. Well, what if everybody could respawn?
Okay.
And when you're young, if you're dumb, you go into cliff jumping and stuff, and you die. But when you come with your resume, you're like, hi, okay, how many lives, can you still respawn?
Right.
And your life would be valuable. It's like, okay, well, if you can still respawn, we can give you this job, and you can get paid $300,000 or something, just right off the bat, because you have another chance to make it. Because that's usually the problem with employees too. If you lose an employee, you have to retrain another one, and you're not as valuable. But if if you can stay a little bit longer.
Okay, now that I said this, I thought about something. So what if you respawn as a baby?
Oh no! Like
you have to start your life over again.
Oh gosh.
Because, that doesn't sound more realistic. But you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, all right, game over. You have to start over again.
Okay, but you don't come out of the womb. You just become a baby.
No, you just come back as a baby.
Do you have the knowledge you had before?
What?
Like, do you have the knowledge you had before you died?
Or no, you're a baby.
Okay, so you don't remember anything?
No. You're just a new human being.
Oh, man, I don't like that idea.
Yeah, I don't either. But I just thought about it. I was like, that'd be really interesting.
Now, if you could die, go back to being a baby, even if you're poor with zero money, but you have the knowledge you had when you died at whatever.
So like
40.
you still have your same brain.
Yes, like you have your training, you have knowledge.
That'd be pretty cool,
dude. I would take it all day.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be so productive by the age of 10. You could be, you could be doing some really cool stuff. That'd be awesome. Okay.
You can like break all the records, of like going to college and developing stuff. You're like at age 7.
I was thinking like, man, what if you're like really good at a sport? You're like at the age of 4, you're like killing it. Yeah, that's awesome. So let's get to what I was looking at, the most dangerous sports, and just tell me what you think, because some of these I agree with. So horseback riding, this is number 10. Obviously, number 1 is the worst.
No.
No, you don't think so? I'm not saying
no, because everybody's so rich that people that do that, they're so rich. They're like rich people don't die riding horses.
Well, the first Superman did. Well, he didn't die. He got crippled, and from that.
Well, is Superman rich?
I mean, he was. Christopher Reeve, the first Superman that we had, he actually became paralyzed horseback riding.
Oh, for real?
He fell off a horse, broke his neck, and ever since then.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about in the movie.
No, not. If Superman fell off a horse and broke his neck. So his kryptonite wasn't kryptonite. It was actually horses. Horses make him weak.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So moving on.
Sure.
Motorbike racing.
Oh, okay. See, now we're talking.
Dude, that's sick. I would love to do that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I had a motorcycle, and you know how we know when they take a curve and they lean their knee.
Yeah.
Dude, I would always try to get my knee as low as I could to the ground. That's stupid.
Dude, I don't know if that's on the list, but there's a sport of bicycling in Brazil. There's like a tournament, I'd say once a year, that they ride it through the favelas. So I don't know if you've ever seen a favela, but it's like a bunch of like houses that are built on hills.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a bunch of tiny
staircases.
Yeah. Like so many of them. And so pretty much these challenges, they go down the hill on the bike, like on the stairs, and they have to like do quick turns and stuff like that. And dude, for you to just break your whole life, like going down those hills, it's insane. I don't know how they don't, because it sounds so dangerous. It looks so dangerous. It's crazy.
Well, I was going to say, when you said dangerous, I think just living in Brazil would be dangerous.
Yeah, I think it can be like riding the bike down the day and someone snipes you, or I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's like, where's my drug money?
Well, yeah, because you're like Brazil, and they said favelas. I was like, you lost me at Brazil.
Okay. Shut up.
They said boxing.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not going to say boxing is easy. I think MMA would be much worse.
I mean, there's a judge,
Yeah. Unless you're Ivan Drago, you're fighting Ivan Drago, you're Apollo Creed. I think
you can get a concussion maybe from that, but
I don't know. Rugby. Okay.
Rugby.
Dude, rugby's a real sport.
Yes.
I don't care who. I love soccer. I love tennis. Rugby's a real sport. Like, dude, rugby, it takes a man. I look at football, I'm like, okay, people hit each other hard. They got pads on.
Right.
Rugby, these dudes are insane.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yes, this is, dude, my hat's off to people who play rugby. Climbing, like rock climbing.
Yes, absolutely, because you can literally die. And especially if you're free soloing.
Yes. So, Free Solo. If you haven't seen that movie, go watch it.
Documentary.
But it's whatever. A documentary. Okay.
It's on Disney Plus.
Is it on Disney Plus?
Yes. It's on Disney Plus. I think it's the only place where it is streaming.
Yeah. Is it? I don't know. I
don't know if it's somewhere else.
Places. Okay.
But yeah, it's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen.
It's so good. So we got my son likes to rock climb, and we got a friend in common. He loves to rock climb, and we actually want to watch it with him.
Yeah.
And he was like nerding out about it, and I was like, okay, it's just a rock climbing documentary.
Right.
And when I watched it, I was like, oh, okay. All right, this is good.
Right. Dude, it'd be so scary. Can you believe it? Like, you're like 2,000 feet from, ground, and you can't even slip.
Yeah, there's no rope, there's nothing.
Yeah.
This is free soloing, right?
Right.
Which they also do something called free basing.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
So you have the parachute.
Right.
So if you first of all, you got to get high enough for the parachute to work. But if you slip, you can bail off the rock and then you can parachute.
Yes.
But they do this in Yosemite. And the problem is that if you fall, you die.
Mm-hmm.
But if you pull the parachute, you go to jail.
Because you can't.
You can't base jump. Yeah, you can't base jump.
That's right.
So if you base jump, you go to jail. So when you start doing this, and the story
That's
is
in the U.S., right?
yeah, it's only the U.S. I don't know. I mean, I guess elsewhere, remote places doesn't really matter. But well, I'm not gonna say in the U.S. in Yellowstone,
Okay.
the national park, you
Okay.
can't. So if you base jump, you're going to jail. So the free basing, I would prefer to do that, and yes, I'd prefer to go to jail than be dead.
But you only go to jail if they catch you, right?
That's a good point. So try to steer that parachute away from the cops,
Right.
and start running.
Can you imagine like a chase? The guy's like coming down, or like a wingsuit or something, a squirrel suit, and you see the cops down. It's like, oh, there he is. It's just like,
Dude, and those climbers, they're super hippie. So there's another documentary. I'm trying to remember the name. It's
said
not
they're
popping in my
hippie?
head. They're super hippie.
Okay.
Those climbers, they're crazy. And they pretty much like sleep in tents, and they sleep
Right.
anywhere they can. They even like eat on the grounds and whatnot. There was a plane that was coming from Colombia. It was a smaller plane,
Okay.
and it crashed in Yellowstone, and the
Okay.
authorities could never find it. But the climbers that were always there, I guess they knew the territory better, or they were just more risky. They actually went and they found it because it was in the winter. So it was either it was covered or it was in ice. I don't remember the story 100%. All I know is that they found it. They found the people that were dead there, and it was full of pot. So they tell the story. It is hilarious. They actually take the pot, and these guys are like, dude, we were selling and smoking so much pot.
That is so funny.
So, yeah. So could these guys get away with the parachute and go somewhere where they wouldn't be able to be found? Maybe.
I mean, if they're high, maybe not.
Yeah. So, all right. So that was number 6. Number 5 is car racing.
Okay. All right.
I'll definitely say it's
That's
dangerous.
pretty cool. Have you seen Formula One?
Yeah.
That's a big thing in Brazil. A lot of people watch it.
Well, you guys had Senna.
Yes.
Ayrton.
So I do enjoy watching it, and it's so cool to see like it is really dangerous because they go like so fast. I don't know how fast they go. I was like 300 kilometers.
Yeah.
I don't know in miles. Maybe like
It's gotta be like 200 something.
yeah, maybe.
At least.
But it's cool like to see how it's so much like the technology that they put inside the car
Mm-hmm.
rather than just the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool.
Do me a favor. Clarify how you guys say his name, because we say in Spanish Ayrton Senna.
That's right.
Is it?
Yeah,
You guys
Ayrton
pronounce
Senna.
How is it?
Ayrton Senna.
Ayrton Senna. Oh, okay, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I remember when we were growing up and we'd get a car, you accelerate more than you should have, and they're like, all right, chill out, Ayrton Senna.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh yeah. He was a big name in South America. All right. What about skiing? Well, this is like alpine skiing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's pretty dangerous.
I've always thought like you watch movies and you see, James Bond. He's going down a hill and then an avalanche breaks out and he beats the avalanche. I don't know if that's possible. But,
No, yeah. In real life, it's just like dead.
and that's the scary part to me. I'm not saying that I would enjoy going downhill and hitting some rocks, but I think if you're pretty skilled, you can do it. I'm more scared of the ability, or not the ability, but the danger you put yourself in to what nature can come at you with, an
Right.
avalanche,
Yeah.
or a hole. Maybe there's snow, but there's really a hole underneath there. You just kind of like go.
Yeah,
over.
that can be literally anything. The deer crossing and
Oh gosh,
you just hit a deer going down.
taken out by an elk. Well, all right. Big wave surfing.
I actually like surfing.
Yeah.
I don't know how to surf, but I think it looks awesome, and I'd love to do it. But I don't think that's more scary than skiing.
Yeah, I don't think so, and I agree with you. Big wave surfing, but it says big wave surfing, so obviously it's the ones that go. You go into it becomes like a tube or a tunnel, and you get into it,
Yeah.
and you ride inside. There's a movie I doubt you've watched. It's before your time, but actually, if being an Avengers fan, at least you'll understand a reference. But there's a movie called Point Break.
Okay.
It's with Keanu Reeves, Patrick Swayze. Good movie, but they're surfers, and Patrick Swayze always talks about, there's a legendary storm that comes into Australia once every, I don't know how often, and it brings in some crazy waves. And at the end of the movie, spoiling it for everybody, because if you didn't watch this movie by now, good luck. At the end of the movie, he rides this massive wave. This thing was, 30, 40, maybe even 50 feet.
Okay.
And he rides it, and you know, the Keanu Reeves is the cop, and they're like, "Hey, you didn't arrest him.